Yeah, let's go. You know us, we know you. From soul food to Whole Foods, from Crenshaw to Nobu. It's old school do's and don't do's in the spot. I wrote the recipe down, wrist deep in the pot. Yeah, puff it and pass it. Chill, Pinot Grigio in the glass, cheese and crackers. Pair up is classic. Learn from the masters, you just gotta listen. The room too hot, then move from out the kitchen. A new spot, ain't no food court. Age to prime, homie, results take time. Life is too short for bad eating, for bad tippers, for bad service, for bad liquor. I need it all fresh. Follow directions, I explain it on the back. A little bit of this, tablespoon of that. Yeah, just watch the mix. I done made this here from scratch. It ain't about where you from, they don't love you where you at. Think about it. Yeah, food for thought. What they talking about? K&E, that's the boss. What you talking about? Yeah, Lamert Park, eating good. What we talking about? Yeah, a lot to talk about.
You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. It is the beginning of Black History Month, and we are Black, and we are
proud.
We are current history. So
power to the people. I'm serious. The people need power.
The people do need
after
power.
What you guys just told me, so we're not going to even talk about it.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about. We're gonna stay on message.
We are,
which is all things dining,
yes.
all things food, and making all things happen. So we'll stay away from the Black history thing that we want to talk about. But as we have said in the past, that is not our role and
that's
responsibility.
Not our wheelhouse. And we will not give that dude any shine.
Shine.
Zero.
So, K-Lou, Black History
Month. As my friend would say, we put him in the cornfield.
Did we?
I'm going to.
What does putting him in the cornfield actually mean?
He doesn't exist because he's in the cornfield. I don't visit the cornfield much.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I'll explain it later.
I've never been to the.
No, you're not going to go to the cornfield.
Cornfield, so I didn't know what exactly we were talking about.
I'll explain it later. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Well,
shout out to Robin.
Okay, well, there it is. So, Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
Yes.
And Black History Month. And, we want to start with a friend of the show. Joyce in downtown LA is one of our favorite restaurants. Shout out to Prince Riley. We want to make sure.
Athena.
And Athena. And we want to make sure that we tell people every chance we get that they what they've got going on. So they're doing some Black history programming. Do you know what they're doing?
Yes, and shout out to John Cleveland, the new culinary director. My bad. Yes, hot off the press. They are, they generally do this. They will co-op or partner with Black spirits, wine, Black-owned spirit brands, wines, and beers, and shout out to or pay homage to those owners. And this year they're doing that, and they are also giving $1 from each cocktail, wine, or beer that is Black-owned, where they're shining a light on, to Brotherhood Crusade. I think that is so dope.
Yeah.
So it's their give back program during Black History Month.
Yeah. And, we didn't get a chance to ask him, but I'm hoping that as a function of it being Black History Month, that the Good Trouble is back on the menu.
Ooh, yes, please.
Because that drink right there is makes it well worth going to downtown LA.
Yes, and I think that's generally with Uncle Nearest. Shout out to Fawn and Keith Weaver. So yes. The other thing that they'll be doing that I might need to pull up for is they will be doing a gumbo extravaganza. That's not what Prince said, but that's how I'm going to describe it. A gumbo extravaganza on Fat Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So that is the 17th. So for those of you guys in LA, we did our culinary conversations at Joyce. Prince and the entire team at Joyce are friends of the show, and we're definitely want to big them up. So make sure you check out at Joyce DTLA on the IG.
Yes.
And it'll give you the information that you need about what they've got going on.
Yep.
Staying with Black History Month, I want to make sure that I highlight a Black chef who is also doing give back, but doing a give back in another way. Chef Marcus Samuelson has started a fellowship to elevate mid-career culinary talent. And, there is obviously not an issue. It's obviously hard to go from the different phases of your career.
Ooh.
The different phases of your
back. It was the back.
of your career from the beginning,
Okay.
and then a lot of people kind of get lost in the middle. So Chef Marcus Samuelson starts a fellowship to elevate mid-career culinary talent, and this was in Black Enterprise, and it says, renowned chef and restaurateur Marcus Samuelson is giving back to the culinary community with a fellowship program that provides culinary professionals with a 2-week experience at the Denniston Hill Retreat in the Catskills. And for those that don't know, Marcus Samuelson is the executive chef at the Red Rooster, and he is the person that he took to Instagram on January 15th to announce the launch of the Rise residency at Denniston Hill, a mentorship program for mid-career culinary professionals. So you can make sure you can look at Black Enterprise on IG and get more information. And we are hoping to have Chef Samuelson on our show when he is in LA. He doesn't come that often, but we're hoping the next time he's here, we'll be able to have him on.
He said he would.
Yeah, well, yeah, he said, let me know. I'll let you know when I'm coming, and I'll also, I'll pull up. So I was like, yes, please, and thank you. And then the other thing that I wanted to kind of talk about is the Paley Center. The Paley Center is doing a Black History programming, and as it applies to Black chefs. So they are doing, they're highlighting a couple of Black chefs that they have on the program. I'm drawing a blank in terms of what that is. But if you do some research, they have well-renowned chefs from the Food Network and just other Black chefs that are part of that, and that will be happening in LA on I want to say the 17th, but you can go to Paley Fest online and be able to get an idea for all of the stuff that they have happening.
Awesome. I mean, you said so much. I'm like, I'm trying to keep up. Yeah. Got it.
And then, there is also we want to make sure that we talk about all of the things that, is this rum that we're drinking a black-owned brand? Unclear.
I don't think so.
I will say this. This is definitely a rum for the ages. Like, this is not for the faint of heart.
It is not. Did you taste the back?
I tasted
the back.
I tasted
was like,
it.
whoa.
I was like, hello. Good.
But this is what I get for talking mess. Like, no ice.
Yeah, I was like,
when we break, I'm gonna be going to get some ice. I'm
so,
like, whoa.
As you guys know, we love to have our cocktails, and the libations help make our show go a little bit easier. Right now, we're sipping on Down Island Jamaican rum. Now, when I tell you this is a rum, like this is for the grown folks. This
like
is not this
like
little.
It just came out of the lab.
I was like
they were like
googity muggity. And so before we started the show, I had said to Karen, "Do we want ice?" And she was like, "Absolutely not. We're doing this neat." In the commercial break, we're getting some ice because that's what it is.
Oh my.
Well, when we come forward, we have a guest tonight that I'm really excited to be able to talk to, and it's going to be a lot of fun. You are watching, listening to, and vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
When we come forward, more savory sounds from the culinary world. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. Delectable recipes, dining do's and don'ts, fascinating culinary insights, celebrity chefs, delicious discussions. You're inside Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest, and it has been some tomfoolery and shenanigans already as we proceed to give you what you need. But you know what? That's what Fridays are for, and that's what we enjoy doing. So I'm really excited about our guest this evening.
I am too. He had the nerve to say, me? Like, I'm sorry. I know we're new besties, but I've seen you in action. I know maybe not all your food history. That's why you're here on the show, my friend. But I know how you get down on food. I know how you see food. I know how you have captured food. Yeah, he was like, me?
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 Well, so our guest this evening is a marketing and branding consultant who writes about food, who writes about beverage, all things hospitality. And, one of the things that I didn't know about him and I'm excited to talk to him about is he was a James Beard finalist judge in 2023. So I definitely want to find out all about that. And,
he's a big deal.
He serves as the judge for the Southern California in 2023. He is also he's written for Edible. His photography has been featured in Eater LA, and as you said, he has become a friend of the show.
Absolutely.
He is. After today, he's definitely going to be a friend of the show.
Yeah.
But we have been able to.
He was my friend first.
He was your friend. Look, what's funny is you
and
always
I shared it with you.
You always try and take ownership of the guest. And
I
that's
am
okay.
so possessive.
You are really on one.
I am so
but
possessive.
that's okay.
It's a vodka martini from last night.
I told you guys before we came forward. Karen was on one. She's been enjoying the cocktails, but you know what? After a dry January,
Yes.
you have to make up for lost time, so we all understand exactly.
No, I don't think I should. I need to ease into. I've been easing into everything this year.
So I'm sorry, we got off track. So our guest this evening is Kevin. He's known, his government name is Kevin Tyler, but you will know him on IG and all other places as the
Thank you.
Full Belly blogger. Kevin, thanks for being here with Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
Thanks for having me.
Bam,
This is
bam,
gonna be a
bam,
good-
So
This is gonna be a ride.
and look, I know that you are probably sitting here wondering what is wrong with us, but this is
Not at all.
this is our show. This is how we get
He
down.
knows
So-
me a little bit.
And
love
you
it.
are after
We
today,
cray-cray.
you will be used to coming back. So, friend of the show and your actual friend, Mona Holmes from Eater LA, has been here several times, and
Love her.
every
Love
time
Mona.
she comes on, she's like, "Yeah, y'all are some fools," and, and we kind of are. So there's that.
Birds of a feather, man. I'm a fool too.
Yeah,
I'm a
good
proud
times.
fool.
Good times.
So, question for you. Let's jump into this. You are a quote unquote self-proclaimed foodie, and I think that I read in your bio you are a self-proclaimed wine enthusiast. I can't pronounce the word. Enophile, is that?
Yeah,
Enophile.
Enophile.
So
yeah.
an enophile is somebody who is a wine connoisseur or enjoys wines, but
He is. I can vouch for him.
because you've been drinking.
No. Really quickly. So how I met Kevin was, and I really want to cry, and I can still taste the deconstructed California roll, and wanted to take Ernest. Anyway, long story short, I decided one day to take myself to this restaurant called Coast with a K. It is no longer. Please, somebody revive it.
Please.
Oh my God, the chef was amazing. And they were doing this collab with Crossroads, which is a well-known vegan restaurant in LA and has a few locations. I think there's even one in Vegas. And so I go thinking, I'm going to sit by myself and blah, 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 blah. And the woman, I had reserved a spot outside, but the woman was like, no one's out here. Like, let me get you a table. She was so sweet. And who am I sitting next to but Mona Holmes and my new bestie, Kevin? They're sitting there, and they're like, join us. And when we went through the food and we went through the wine, he was saying words I didn't even understand. So I know that, that he understands wine. Like, what did we have at the end?
Sauterne, I think.
Yeah.
The dessert one. It was
See?
beautiful.
See,
I was learning and enjoying myself and all the things. So that's why I was so impressed with him and really admired your relationship, as Ernest said, your relationship and wisdom around food and beverages. It was so good to watch. So, yes, I will vouch for him. Now that he needs my
I was
vouching.
like, now that she has officially co-signed on him,
we're
we're putting it in quotes for those of you guys who are not watching.
No, it should be in all
on
caps.
the IG and the YouTube. So, Kevin, thanks for being here. But tell us a little bit about your food journey. Like, how did you get into wanting to be all things food? Like,
Yes.
What is your story?
Yeah, so I am the proud son of a father and parents who wanted to expose me to as many things as possible in the world. my sister and I, we were raised to kind of be Swiss Army knives. And so my father would always say things like, don't knock it till you try it. He taught us what fork to use when, how to be in spaces that weren't really for us typically, right?
That part.
So he wanted to teach us those things. Along with that was the food part. So that's how I was raised, in a nutshell. In 2019, which at the time felt like it was a peak police brutality season, which we know it wasn't the peak. It's just kind of always like that.
Right.
My now husband, I really enjoy social media. I like to be participatory, and I was having a problem being on social media, seeing all of this violence against people who looked like me. And so my husband then said, well, why don't you just kind of write about food and participate in the food community on social media, and then you won't have to like be a part. And that was a great idea. Although I told him in response, like, I'm not a chef. I've never been to chef school.
Right.
But he said, you're a storyteller. And that's what I kind of hang on to, is participating in a way around food that is beyond, like, these French fries are good. It is. I think there's stories to be told about how not just food gets to a plate, but a person who wants to tell the story gets into a space and gets all the things that they need to tell the stories that they want to tell from their childhood, from their neighborhoods, their culture, all of those things. And I think that food deserves that type of respect, and I think it's forgotten in this new kind of landscape of food enthusiasm and influence. And I try to like get back into that. And so from that conversation with him, I started, doing what I only know how to do, and I was a poetry major, so it's very fluffy.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Very fluffy language, and I like to let people know how I'm feeling when I'm eating a thing. And people kind of responded well. And then we moved to, that was when I was in Columbus, Ohio, which is where I'm from. We moved to LA in 2020. And all these opportunities kind of started rolling my way. And so since then, I've been the James Beard judge. I've, written copy for Dwayne Wade's wine label and had dinner with him and Gabrielle Union, and just been in Nancy Silverton. I've just been in rooms that I would have never had opportunity to be in my previous life. And so it's been really cool.
One of my favorite wines from Dwayne Wade is the Chenin Blanc.
That Chenin Blanc is so good.
It's so amazing.
It is so good.
It's so amazing. What comes up for me as you speak so eloquently is that, when we think about food is, we talk about it all the time, how universal food is, how it brings people together, how food is community personified if done right, if cared for, if talked about, if shared, all the things. And a lot of that, or I find that a lot of foodies, like even if Ernest were to share his story around food, it really often starts, not always, but it often starts with childhood, right? Or in childhood, where you kind of start to form yourself and your parents, put these rules on you and all the things. But in that, they're teaching you something. And so we have some similarities there. What it also brings up to me is I have empathy for people who just eat and don't dine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they just sit at the table, they don't talk to anybody, and I'm not talking about people who are there alone. I'm like, isn't that your family? And why are you on your phone? And you're just feeding yourself, but you're not sharing yourself. And so I love what you said in terms of that, and I know that Ernest would like to hear about we'd both like to hear about the James Beard, how that came, that opportunity, for sure.
But before we get there, though, you said something, and I don't want to gloss over it. You said that in 2020, that these opportunities started coming your way. What were those opportunities, and how did they manifest? Like, how were they? What were some of the things that you were like, oh, while sure, I'll do this. Like, what were those things that were some of those opportunities
Especially
that came your way?
Especially because you were new to LA.
Right.
Very
yeah.
new.
And
Very new.
also new to the dining world, like, because you had just started in 2019. So what were some of those opportunities, and what were those things that were manifesting?
So I will never forget LA. There was a DM from the LA Times in my Instagram saying, would you like to be a judge for the James Beard Awards? And I was like, surely. they're not
Right. Like they didn't mean to say that to me.
This is a typo, the biggest typo I've ever seen. What is going on? But no, it was, and I think it was, the description from the person who sent it to me was like, you know good food. I see where you're going and how you talk about it, and you have a perspective. You know wine, and it was very flattering, right? I didn't expect it. It wasn't something I was trying to have happen, but you get those indications that you're just kind of moving in the right direction, and that was one of those things, right? I was doing some writing for a small agency that's headquartered in the San Francisco area, and one of their clients was Dwayne Wade, his wine company. And so by virtue of that, I was invited to a dinner that they were having at 1010 Wine and Events with Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. So I'm sitting there with one of the editors from Rolling Stone, and it's just like, what the can I swear here?
Yeah. Yes.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like it is these gates kind of opened up, and I did the work, right? I've taken the wine classes, I've taken the tests, I've spent the money to know the things and studied the words and everything else. And it's like, now I'm ready to accept these opportunities. And it was a very proud moment to be able to participate in an industry that I love so much at a significant level like this, right? It's not an everyday occurrence, and I feel very proud to have had a hand in some of those awards that people got.
Yeah, I think because I'm getting to know you because you were my friend first. I love you so much.
I mean, just hashtag facts.
You're so humble, and so a part of me senses that in your own humility, you manifested these opportunities. I'm sure your energy was such that, like you said, the opportunities just started coming to you. You weren't even chasing after anything. And so I think, I just wanted to say that. I think you manifested these things.
My husband is my biggest supporter, and he often reminds me that, like, you have to be, you have to step into your confidence here. You're good at what you were doing. But I never want to enter a room expecting that I'm going to get something out of the space I'm in. I just want to plant as many seeds as possible, and if they bloom, then great. If not, then I've just been in a really cool room, right? And I feel very fortunate to have built a network in a city like the size of LA,
right?
The way that I have, and I am very appreciative of opportunities like this. I love getting to meet new people. I love telling stories. I love hanging out with you. I don't want to take anything for granted. We are living a life. My husband and I are living a life that, had you said we would be living 10 years ago, I would tell you, get the fuck out of my face.
Say it again for the people in the back.
This is crazy.
Say it again for the people in the back.
There are not many people who are black who are writing about food, black gay men who are writing about food in a way that moves people. And I want to be a part of that movement of, like, I want to learn as much as I am teaching. I want to say as much as I am listening. I want to support in any way I can.
I love that so much.
Say it again for the people in the back. So I also want to address something that I didn't know because you were her friend first.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I'm just now getting to know you.
It's fine.
You talk about wine. You talk about the Dwayne Wade of it, but and once again, I like to make sure that I shine the light on. I don't like to gloss over things. You said that you did the work, that you were studying the wine, that you were doing those kind of things. In your bio, you talk about or a moment where you were at like a wine test. I guess it was a wine test, and the number of blacks and black men that were represented in that room. Can you talk a little bit about that journey and becoming? And I don't think you're a somm, but to be that journey to getting to know wine.
Yes, I love telling the story.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this real quickly.
Put a pin in it.
We're going to put a pin in that, and then we're going to come forward. You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
When we come forward, more savory sounds from the culinary world. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. delectable recipes, dining do's and don'ts, fascinating culinary insights, celebrity chefs, delicious discussions. You're inside Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. Our guest this evening is Kevin Tyler, also known as Full Belly Blogger. And before we came forward, we were talking about your journey in this food space and being a trusted voice and a trusted advisor. In particular, we were about to start talking about your journey especially as it applies to wine, as it applies to being being in a room where there was a conversation about wine at a level that there were not a lot of blacks, period, and then black men were even fewer. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So in 2017 actually, my dad got sick.
Okay.
And I was in a job that had lots of travel, and so I quit that job so I can help take care of him. And during that time, I stopped by a wine shop. When I was not caretaking for him, I would stop by this wine shop on my way home and get a bottle of wine, whatever. Shout out to the Twisted Vine in Columbus, Ohio, because that's where I learned how to study and really, how to drink wine. Mm-hmm. And so after a couple of weeks, months, whatever, they noticed my interest in it, and they said, take this book home. And I would drink a bottle of wine while I would read this chapter about that, whatever I was drinking. Mm-hmm. Fast forward, then I'm studying for my first level SOM test. And that was in February of 2020, right before the world shut down. And so I passed that first go, and that was in the Court of Master SOMs, which at the time, right after I took that test, had its own reckoning. There were lots of reckonings happening that year, and they had one around racism and sexual assault, et cetera.
Oh, wow.
And so because of that, I jumped tracks into what's called WSET, which is Wine and Spirits Education Trust. Court of Master SOMs is more for service and being on the floor of a restaurant.
Okay.
Wine and Spirits Education Trust is more for education. And so I went into level 2, took that remotely at home, and then did level 3. One of the things that I found to be most intriguing about wine is that, about a lot of things that are transaction of culture, I think of like theater, wine, food, things that are cultural experiences, that they often feel reserved for a very specific type of person. And so when I was studying wine, I was working in a wine shop, and in that wine shop, it was in the suburbs of Columbus, Ohio, and a woman walks in, and I was not behind the counter, and I was like, can I help you with something? And she goes, what do you know about wine? Oh. And I was like, oh, I see. And so one of the things that I get so much enjoyment out of is surprising people with what I know about things when they don't expect me to know anything about anything.
It's fun, right?
It is fun.
It's very fun.
And so there are times that I have experienced people being surprised by, oh, shit. He knows what he's talking about. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, I do know what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I do this.
Right, exactly. And so I enjoy wine because, for lots of reasons, that being one of them, but also because like a bottle of wine is a record of the climate that year, what was going on politically, how much sun was happening. It's a collection of information that will never taste that way again.
Right.
And so if we look at it as an archive of a year, and notwithstanding the stories that are being told by the winemakers and the processes that are very important, it is a very intriguing and seductive product, and I love it in a way that, in a way that I love my husband. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I love that.
It's
making me want to go spend some time in a wine store.
Well, it's. Well, two things come out of you telling us that. So I don't know if you know the story of how Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest came about. We were at a restaurant and we were having a meal, and Karen said that I was describing foods in a way that she hadn't heard. She was like, "What are you, the Black Jonathan Gold?"
I literally
when
said
that. When I listen to you talk about wine, I kind of know what Karen is talking about, because I'm like, oh, so you know this. Like you know food and hospitality and wine. You do this. So, congratulations on that. And then when you tell us that, so this
It's
I
a
think,
gnat.
I think that gnat came back from last week. After I killed one gnat, he sent his homies and he's coming back for us.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I love that. And so can you tell me how this knowledge and this journey leads to you being in the room with Dwayne Wade and and the 1010 wine. Like, I want people to know, and what I want them to hear is that this is a journey, and this is really about planting those seeds, like you said, seeing what blooms. But can you tell us how you move from being being educated on wine to, I'm assuming, having conversations with Dwayne about his wine? Like,
Right.
tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, so I'm a very curious person. I always have a question. I always want to read something. If it's an article, book, whatever, I just want to know. I just want to know things. And I think that natural curiosity is part of what got me in this seat with you all right now. My husband and I love to travel a lot. Last year we were in Shanghai, and we got a plate of food that had okra in it, and I was like, "Black people have been here. Where? Like, what is? I now need to know. I now need to know." And I think that I just get excited about clues. They're like culinary clues that you just kind of have around things, and I'm very curious about that. And so that's how I approach every kind of conversation with someone who I either know or don't know. What are the questions that I have about a thing? And I don't care how dumb they sound. I just want to hear how you are going to explain it, so then I could absorb it and then read about it and then come up with my own way of explaining the same thing. And so I lead with my curiosity at all times, and I don't. Nothing is too unimportant to know, and there is a lot more for me to learn. I am not sitting here as like the foremost authority on food and wine. I never want that to be the case.
Right.
But I do want people to know that I'm a very enthusiastic learner, and if there is information that you have that I need, I want it, and I want it now.
And to Ernest's point, because I can now visualize you at 1010 sitting across from Dwayne and Gab and whomever else was in the room, right? Because clearly I would imagine there was diversity at the table, all the things. That said, because of your husband's support and him using the word confidence, how do you show up to these rooms?
Oh,
While still being curious and
girl.
I mean, because you have, like, I don't know if I've said this to you before, but you have a sense of fashion. You show up handsome, all the things. So,
Well, you've seen him. I mean, he is fine as hell. So
he says that about his husband all the time.
Oh my God.
Haven't met him in person, but there's pictures.
He is fine as We've been together for 20 years, and it's still like,
Right.
What?
He's still
Are you sure you know where you are? Like, it's dope.
Well, we are talking with Kevin Tyler, Full Belly blogger. You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
When we come forward, more savory sounds from the culinary world. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. Delectable recipes, dining do's and don'ts, fascinating culinary insights, celebrity chefs, delicious discussions. You're inside Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. Our guest this evening is Kevin Tyler, also known as @FullBellyBlogger. And, I want to take a second and let people know where they can find Karen and myself. You can find us on Instagram @Food for Thought with K&E. That is also our handle on YouTube, where these shows ultimately end up living, @Food for Thought with K&E. If you're one of those people that wants to shoot us an email, or you have a question about anything you heard on the show, our email address is foodforthought @foodforthoughtwithknd.com. So now that I've told people where they can find us, Kevin, why don't you tell people where they can find you? What are your socials, your handles, your website, any of that stuff?
Absolutely. I am at the Full Belly Blogger on Instagram, and also the Full Belly Blogger on Substack, where you can read my writing.
Oh, awesome sauce.
And then, so, before we came forward, Karen was talking about, your curiosity and the fact that it is getting you into rooms
Yeah.
that you may not normally think that you are going to be in.
Yeah. Actually, the two C's: curiosity and confidence.
Curiosity and confidence.
Yes.
And she really wanted to know, how do you address your confidence being in these rooms now that you are the full belly blocker?
Yeah, I don't want to call it like imposter syndrome. I feel like I have done the work to be in the rooms, of course.
Of course.
But I always like to take a moment, right? So I was at Nancy Silverton's home a couple of months ago, and I just had to take a moment.
Humble brag.
Well, it was with 150 other people. First of all, let's be real.
No, there's nothing. There ain't nothing wrong if it's your truth. But I just want you to
wasn't in
know
the
that.
building.
Yeah, we weren't. Were we in the room, Karen? No, we weren't there. No, okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think that I just have to take a moment. I took a moment in the car to just be like, this is happening, and I have earned this, and this is what we're about to do, and I just kind of go into it, right? Like, it's the same as moving to LA. It's the same as doing something new. It's the same as me learning about rum, and I am more curious than I am afraid, and so I'll just walk in and say I'm here to ask some questions, essentially in my head. And so, I met a lot of really great people. Met some of the folks from the Bear and some other chefs that I really respect and admire. And
So jealous.
like-
I'm hating. I'm not hating,
you're not
but I'm
hating.
definitely jealous.
it's
Yeah.
a crazy thing, and I think that people you position. I just try to position myself thoughtfully and try to be a good person as often as I can, and that's what I do.
I wish you could teach that to others.
Yes, definitely. And you mentioned something that is kind of true for Karen and myself as to how this show came about. We just said, let's do it. Like, as opposed to, like, we didn't, like, the show has evolved. We've been able to have amazing guests, yourself, Mona Holmes, Chef Gilberto Satina from Hobosh. Like, we've been able to have amazing people on the show. But it really just came about because we were like, we want to be able to talk to people.
I'm saying.
The same way that we talk about food amongst ourselves. So it's kind of an amazing thing that, like
and
you
then
said.
shared with others, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
One of the greatest things in my life, I think, is when people ask me what I think about a thing. Where should I go eat? What kind of wine should I buy for X, Y, and Z? Have you ever been to this city? I need a list. And so now I have a list of 50
love
cities on my phone that I just
that.
send a link to, and here are the places that I like.
I might actually need that link in my life.
Yeah.
I might actually need
I
that.
don't think that I don't want to gatekeep information around any of this. I think it's
Fair.
I want to, if a friend of mine is going to Tokyo in a couple of months or weeks or whatever, and I said, you got to go to these 6 places.
Okay,
Like,
I'll
you
be
got to,
tapping
you
in
got
on
to,
that.
you got to.
I'm going to Japan.
And
Ernest may be with me. We're not sure. We got to look at
don't even get me
timing.
started on Tokyo, but I think I love being that resource for people.
Love.
It means that I have information that people value, and I just want more of it, so I can help, like, not help more people, but just like have more information. I really enjoy it.
And
I
you
really
just
enjoy
gave
it.
me something special because sometimes I'm just going to be fully transparent. Sorry, friends. Sometimes people hit me and I'm like, again? Like, you guys can't find your own places. So now I'm going to reposition myself and find the honor in that.
There's
that
honor.
they trust me enough to ask me. And this is who we've become. So I will share differently now. I always share.
Yeah.
But now my spirit will be different. Thank you for that.
Of course.
So let me ask you one question before we go to break, and that is, as somebody that is enjoying this thing called food and dining, that is really taking it in, and since 2019, or maybe even since it actually started earlier as a child, is there one place, one experience, one moment that you really can point to as a highlight in your culinary journey? Is there a favorite restaurant? Is there I was here with my husband when this happened? Is it I was able to meet people from the Bear? Like, is there a defining moment in your journey that you're like, yep, this is real?
So a couple of things come to mind, but I go first to like my favorite meal. When I get asked often what my favorite meal was, and it was in the small town called Kotor outside of Croatia, in a place called Montenegro. We were sitting by this bay, and we had this shaved octopus salad with roasted pistachios and balsamic vinegar drizzle. And when I tell you, it was the most moving dish I have ever had in my entire life. At this restaurant called Jardin, I have never. It is the most beautiful plate of food I've ever had.
Wow.
But that's one thing. I think that, being asked to provide an opinion or write a nomination for a restaurant that I really admire is another thing that I feel very honored by, and that's another like indication of, appreciation of the industry.
Yeah.
But I also think about like what it means to support a restaurant. And I think a lot of people think that you have to go and buy a bunch of stuff. And I think that if you just go in and buy like a smoothie or like a snack, it doesn't have to be exorbitant. I think restaurants are centers of community the way that barbershops are centers of community.
Yes, I agree.
And I think about when I get notes from people saying, "Thank you so much for writing what you did about my place. This is all of our savings are in this. Like I'm trying to tell the story." And it means a lot. And so there are a lot of those kinds of examples that I kind of reflect on. Our time together at Accomplice that we were just talking about, I think that was really special. I want to share as much as I can with people I love.
That's fair. That's a T-shirt and a hat.
Yep, I was going to say, let's put that on the T-shirt and the mug and the sweatshirt. Well, you are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
When we come forward, more savory sounds from the culinary world. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. Delectable recipes, dining do's and don'ts, fascinating culinary insights, celebrity chefs, delicious discussions. You're inside Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest.
You are listening to, watching, vibing out to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. And our guest this evening is, as we said about Mona Holmes, but it is standalone, the world famous, the full belly blogger. Kevin Tyler is our guest this evening, and it is the time of the show for our hot dishes. Our hot dishes are our sometimes unpopular opinions, but in the last segment, we told you where you could find us, so you can add us if you want to. I can start. Karen, do you want to start? Kevin, do you want to start?
No, you please.
I'll go ahead and start. So my hot dish this week is, if you are in a restaurant, you are in the service business, you are in the service industry. I dislike very intently, and I'm not going to say the restaurant, but I went to a restaurant last night, and the server was acting like he was doing us a favor. He was, we asked him questions about the menu, and it was very dismissive. We asked him for certain items. We were like, "Hey, we need some share plates." 10 minutes later, we were still waiting for the share plate. So if you're working at a restaurant, it is a service industry, and being of service to others is, it may sometimes feel thankless, but you're in this business. And if you're in this business and on that side of things, you should serve, or as Karen likes to say, have a servant's heart. You should be willing to go the extra mile to make sure that experience is really good, because at the end of the evening, we walked away from that restaurant, which was a great time of communing, but we walked away with a not positive experience. So that's my hot dish. If you're in the industry, you are part of the serving community.
Sir?
After you, Karen.
Oh, okay. So this is no diss to anyone that I've been with that this has happened to, but I will serve as advocate for this. My hot dish is, I would prefer that people, when they clearly don't like something, that they send it back. Mm-hmm. And not in a rude way, not in a pompous way, in a very humble way, to let people know, "Oh, I didn't like this," because it helps the restaurant. You're not being mean or rude. If you didn't like something, it helps the restaurant to say why you didn't like it and why you're sending them back. And I'm at a point, I was with a friend the other day, and she ordered matcha for the first time, and she didn't know if she liked it. She was very clear, like, "Oh, I haven't tried it, whatever." And so we get to the table, and she's like, "Oh, I don't like this." And I was like, "Okay, we'll send it back." She's like, "I don't want to do that." So what I did was I went back and I said, you don't have to give the money back, but I'd like to order something else on her behalf. And the gentleman was so kind. He was like, of course I'm not going to charge you. But my point was, because I recognize small businesses, I was willing to take the hit to get her something she enjoyed, but not hurt the restaurant because they had made this product. So just like return things, but look at it as an indication to help others. That's all.
Yeah, my hot dish is that I think restaurants need to store wine properly.
Say it for the people in the back.
There have been
Yes,
times
please.
when I have ordered a glass of wine that you can taste has been open since the day before, and putting a cork in a bottle of wine is just not proper storage.
No.
And it doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's a bummer. A lot of margin gets made on a glass of wine.
Right. Right.
So for folks who don't know, like typically the glass price on a menu is it's typically what they paid for
a
the
bottle.
And so they want to make that money back as quickly as possible. But if you're not storing it properly, then
Shame on you. Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
That's my hot dish. Also, I guess I would say that people who say who ABC people, anything but Chardonnay people, that gets on my nerves quite a bit.
Sorry, I've never heard the ABC reference. So,
Man.
so hey,
That's
so
hilarious. You're going to have to go into that for me. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
it is always amazing how quickly time
Today,
passes.
It is certainly amazing.
Yeah, it is. And
It
I'm
went so quick.
It did.
as we've said before, our guest this evening is Kevin Tyler, also known as the Full Belly Blogger, and I'm glad that Karen has found it in her heart of hearts to be able to allow us to develop this relationship and this friendship because, you are the epitome of what this show is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about being able to talk food with people, and have them understand that, it's not about just eating. It's not just about consuming. It's about enjoying the experiences. It's about enjoying the notes. It's about enjoying the communion. It's about all of those things. So having you on our show as our guest this evening has hands down been one of the highlights of the people that we've had on the show. So I want to take a second to shout you out. I also want to take a second to tell you that you're now officially even though she claims you are now officially a friend of the show. So
For sure.
anytime
And
you
a friend
want,
to
you
Ernest.
anytime you want, you are welcome here at Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest,
Oh, thank
because
you so much.
Yeah.
it has been an amazing episode, and it's been great to be able to talk food and to be able to hear your passion for food.
Yeah.
So that's been amazing.
And I just want you to know that Mona was very clear when I first met Kevin. She shouted you out, so it was about meeting you two. You were talked about at that dinner
Yeah.
very lovingly.
I mean,
You were.
well, but so Kevin, real quickly though, I appreciate that, but you notice it had to be Mona who shouted me out. It wasn't my partner over here. Like,
We
oh,
would
you
have
got to
gotten
meet
there.
We would
We
have
would
gotten
have
there.
gotten there.
My name's Bennett.
I want to give credit where credit is due, but we would have gotten there.
Well, it is amazing how
It
quickly
is.
time goes by,
Yes.
and we've made it through another one.
made it
But
through.
in the words of Karen and Ernest, bye.